You're listening to Brainbuster Radio.
Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to this very special bonus episode of Queen's Court, Queeny Chats, my very first interview with the lovely, awe-inspiring Asian sensation Kanji from Wrestling Resurgence, and you may know her from a couple other promotions, most notably Defiant, where she was Defiant Women's Champion and hopes to be soon once again. Girl, I'm rooting for you. Queen's Courtiers, this is a very special moment for me. I am so excited to share this amazing chat that Kanji and I had together. Just a, nice wrestling chat as fans, me as a fan of her, both of us as fans of wrestling. And I learned a lot from her. She has a lot of great points, insight, and valuable information to share with you. And I really hope this helps you open your horizons, if you will, to more indie promotions such as Wrestling Resurgence, and they are so cool. Speaking of that, we have great news for you here at Brainbuster Radio. We have an opportunity for you to get 15% off your tickets to some huge upcoming shows for Wrestling Resurgence, Angry Dancing, and Iron Woman, which has our girl Kanji in it, just saying. And all you have to do is when you go to buy those tickets, you enter the code BrainBusta15. I will set you up with everything you need in the description and, of course, on my Twitter in terms of links where you need to go in order to get those tickets to support an indie show and, save a little bit of money with our code. That's BrainBusta15. So now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce to you, for your listening pleasure, the first of Queenie's Chats with our girl Kanji. Please enjoy. All right, everyone, welcome to this extremely exciting bonus episode of Queen's Court here on Brainbuster Radio. I have the absolute pleasure of speaking to Wrestling Resurgence's Kanji. Kanji, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. I'm so excited to have you on the show. I can't wait for everyone to get to know you more and hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
So I guess where I wanted to start with you is, what was the thing that captivated you the most about professional wrestling? The thing that made you say, yeah, you know what? This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be.
I think from watching it when I was younger, the thing that I remember most was the storylines and the storytelling. So I think that's what really made me really want to get into it. I've always loved drama at school as well. So just the storytelling in the ring and out of the ring was something that I've always remembered. I've always got lost in the stories and believed them so much.
Yeah.
And then watching the wrestlers actually have so much fun with so much energy in the ring, wrestling and telling that story, I think it's amazing. I've always been attracted to it.
Yeah, I think that's so exciting part of wrestling and such a thing that connects, right, with so many of us as wrestling fans. Never mind what it must be like as a wrestler yourself to get to create these storylines with other performers, with creative, and present it to an audience. And you said you liked drama in school?
Yeah, I loved it.
Oh my gosh, me too. I'm a theater kid myself.
Yeah.
So isn't it so much fun? You get to put on a little character and tell a story. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, me too. That's cool. So when you decided that this was going to be your path, did you do anything specific in terms of training? Like, where did you start? Because I feel like for so many people who are looking to get into the business, it's like, wow, overwhelming a little bit. So like, what did you do to get yourself prepared to dive in?
Um, well, I didn't know there was any school, so I haven't actually been training or wrestling for very long. Um, I just did a bit of research to find wrestling schools in my area, and
Mm-hmm.
luckily there was one which was literally 10 minutes down the road. So I just sent an email and asked if I could come and have a go. And luckily there was an open day coming up soon, so I just went to the open day on my own. Had no one else with me. I just went in, not knowing what to expect. Um, and I walked in, and there were so many people there, and just to see a wrestling ring for the first time in front of me was just incredible. Like I never thought I'd even get the opportunity to see a ring, never mind actually get inside. Um, and I just went for it. I just did the whole open day on my own. I didn't think about what I looked like or anything. I just had the best time of my life, and I just couldn't wait to go back. I just dove straight in.
Wow, you went feet first for real, huh?
Yeah, I did. I loved it.
That's so cool. I find that so inspiring. That's so like courageous of you. You're just like, you know what? I'm going in. I'm gonna
Yeah,
do it. Forget what I
yeah,
look like. I'm just gonna try. That's so awesome.
yeah. I didn't.
Oh,
It's not until like now when I think back, like I can't, like I full on went on my own. I had no one else with me.
yeah.
Um, and I don't know. I weren't even thinking. I didn't even realize like this is a big thing. Like I'm going on my own. I didn't even think of being on my own or anything until now. I look back and I think, damn, that was a big deal, really.
It was. You took it
Yeah,
upon yourself. You went by yourself. You didn't know anybody. You sent an
yeah,
email and you went for it. I mean, that shows your dedication and passion for what you wanted to do right there, I think. That's
yeah,
so cool.
yeah.
What was that experience like when you did an open day?
Um, I think it was just an introduction to the people you'd be working with if you carried
Hmm.
on, and um, what kind of things you'd be looking at, really. Um, so there was so many people there, and everyone was so helpful. My trainer Sticks was there. He was the one who was taking the open day. So I got
Hmm.
to meet him, and it was the first time meeting him. So he's there in just a vest top, and he's massive. Like his upper body muscles are huge. So I was like, damn, this is a proper wrestler. Like crazy
Yeah.
one for the first time. It was mental, but even just learning little things like how to actually lock up properly. So
Hmm.
from seeing that just on TV, on YouTube videos, to actually learning how to do it properly, and just like the basic science of wrestling, just knowing the little bits that I never even noticed. It just makes you think there's so much more to it than just what you see.
Yeah, that would be what I would think too when you'd go in there and you're like, okay, I feel like I know a little bit, right? I've seen it,
Yeah,
I watched a couple things, I've studied, but actually doing it for the first time, I can imagine is very eye-opening in a lot of
yeah,
ways.
yeah. Because they talk about footwork and how to use your left and right side of your body. Everything is just, and timing and everything. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine that it would be. And it's a lot of information to download too, especially as you're starting out on this journey. I can imagine day one,
Yeah,
you were like, wow, this is so cool, but it's a lot of info too.
yeah, yeah. But it was so exciting. I literally couldn't wait to go back.
So when you were, you did your open day and then you got yourself started, how did you come up with your character and your name, Kanji? When I hear that name, I think about the Japanese text,
Yeah.
the actual writing. So I'm so curious, like how did you develop that, come up with what you're going to be called?
Well, the name, my it comes it's a second part to my surname, Kanji is.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, so it was kind of I wanted to have part of my surname in there because I feel like that's a part of my dad I'm taking with me.
Yeah.
Because my dad passed away a few years ago, and he never got the chance to see me wrestle, or he never even knew that I was trying out for it because he'd gone before that.
Oh,
And he's the one who got me into wrestling. So it's it's gutting, really, to know that I'm
sure.
doing this without him. But I feel like
Yeah.
I'm carrying his name through it. So it's just something special to me that I have that.
Well, I think that's really awesome, and I'm so sorry to hear that. But that's wonderful that you get to carry on something and a part of him into what you're doing, which is, I know, means a lot to you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's so cool and interesting. So it's part of
mhm,
your surname, so you're taking part of that with you.
yeah.
And how did that work for your character development? I know you're relatively new, quote
Yeah.
unquote, to the scene. So how did that work with how you were going to decide, like, what am I going to be? What is my presentation to the wrestling, fandom going to look like?
Um, I think whilst training, it develops itself really,
Mm,
by learning new things and learning how you feel in the ring yourself. A character develops itself through that.
hmm,
So while I was training, I liked the fast-paced stuff and the high-flying stuff, and I enjoyed it. And when Sticks, my trainer, was watching me train all the time, he always kept shouting, stop smiling," because he could see that I was having such a good time doing it.
yeah.
Um, so I think my character just comes, I'm just so happy to be there. I'm having fun. So I just try and have fun with the audience. But um, when it actually comes down to this is a fight, then I know I can put my fighting face on and my fighting stance.
Right. I think that definitely comes through because I've seen, several of your matches, and it's evident that you are living the dream, and it's
Yeah,
all over your face, and you're hyped up, and you get the crowd hyped up with you, and then the second that bell's on, you're like, okay, let's go.
yeah, let's fight.
I think that's awesome. So one of the first things I saw you in was Defiant,
Yeah,
and I saw your match when you became Defiant Women's Champion. So
yeah,
I wanted to ask you about that because I believe it was your second appearance with them, right?
yeah, it was, yeah.
Wow. So you won the championship. You had a gauntlet, correct?
That's it, yeah.
Wow. So tell me about that experience. What was it like coming out your second time with Defiant and winning that belt?
I was terrified to come out, um, because it was the first time meeting a few of the girls I'd been in the match with, and even though I didn't step in the ring with them because they'd already gone.
Hmm.
I was in the lineup with them, so my name would be up there with theirs. Um, so I was terrified because it's like I'd be ending the match, and I wanted to do them proud as well. Do you know what I mean?
I do,
Uh,
yeah.
so I had a lot of pressure on me, and then winning the belt at the end was insane. Being so new, um,
Mhm.
I was terrified to see how the crowd would react, whether they'd like me or not. So it was just so much pressure.
Yeah.
Um, so even when I won it, and then they announced that I'd won, I was like, oh man, this can't be real because I'm so new. I was so
Yes.
new. It was just insane.
It must have been. I must have, if I were you, I would have felt like, oh my God, I have so much adrenaline. Like, what's going on, you know?
Yeah, I didn't know how
Yeah.
to react, honestly.
But you got that belt. How
Yeah,
cool was that?
I know. Oh, man, because the names of the girls who's had that belt
Yeah.
is is incredible. Like the people who's actually held it, and now I'm one of them. It's amazing.
Yeah, you are. You're in that crowd. And as a fan of wrestling, that must be, such an honor for you too to follow those girls. And, one of them was Bea Priestley, and she's so cool, and she's
Yeah,
doing big things on her own now too. And I can
yeah,
imagine for you it must have been like, wow, here I
definitely.
am. I've made it too, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because definitely, Bea Priestley is definitely someone that I look up to.
Sure.
Um, she's been through so much, and she's come so far all by herself. I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
To say that she's done it all by herself. So she's definitely someone I look up to because she's amazing in the ring.
Hmm.
Like everything she does, it's just a work of art, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I totally agree. And that must
Yeah,
have been an interesting thing for you too, getting to work with these girls and
yeah,
kind of get to learn from them as well as perform with them. I think
that's
that's
it.
such a cool duality.
Yeah, yeah. I think every time I step into the ring with one of those girls, it's not just an experience, but it's a lesson learned. Because I
Sure.
learned so much from them. Just a bit of time in the ring, you can learn so much.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
So now that you're working with Wrestling Resurgence, what has
Yeah.
that experience been like for you?
Wrestling Resurgence is one of my favorite companies to work for.
Cool.
Uh, the whole everyone who works there are so welcoming and so polite, and everything is just organized amazingly, and they
Mm-hmm.
really look after you, and care about what you think and how you feel. So every time I'm on their show, I just have the best time. And the people they have on their shows are amazing. So if I have a match there, there's so many people I can ask if they could watch my match and tell me how it went, or give me a bit of feedback. Not just the people watching, but the person I'm in the ring with.
Mm.
So the last few times I've wrestled Charlie Evans, and she's been wrestling for a while, and just working her, I've learned so much. So to hear her feedback for me, after a match is just amazing, because I think she's amazing. I love her so much.
Yeah, she's super talented as well.
Yeah,
It sounds like a very collaborative and supportive environment.
yeah, it is. It really is. Like I said, they take care of you so well. They're amazing. Everything is so prepared. Um, yeah, and they work together so well because everyone's in contact with each other constantly.
Hmm.
So it's amazing atmosphere they create there.
Oh, that's so awesome to hear. It's nice when you get to talk with somebody about their experience in a promotion. It makes you want to watch more of what they have. You know, as a fan, right?
Yeah,
When you hear that someone's had such a great experience performing with them, working with them, not even
yeah,
just in the ring, but behind the scenes.
that's
You
it.
know, that's one of the reasons I like Wrestling Resurgence so much, you know,
Yeah,
as a viewer. But
yeah, yeah. And I think it shows through the performance of the wrestlers how
sure.
supportive the actual company is.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Everybody seems very comfortable
Yeah,
in to do what they want to do in the ring, to perform they want to perform, and have that environment around them. I would imagine that's how
yeah,
it is.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
oh, that's such a great thing to hear. And speaking of Charlie Evans, now I know that you have an Iron Woman match coming up in
Yeah,
August.
yeah.
So if I were to, give you the mic right now to say a little something, something about that match and maybe a little bit about Charlie Evans, what would you say?
I'd say the match will be a respectable match. I
Mm-hmm.
think we're two wrestlers now. We're even. We're both even, and this is almost the end, which sucks really because I don't want it to end. Uh,
Yeah.
I really don't want it to end because I have the best matches with her. So I'm so excited, but I think it's just I'm gonna try get the most amount of wins I can
Yeah.
in that small amount of time. But it's only 30 minutes long. But honestly, I wish it was longer. I
Do
wish.
you?
Yeah, yeah.
That's how much you enjoy wrestling with her?
Yeah, definitely. It's so easy, really, because she's so good.
Right.
She's so good, and the reason why I wrestle is because I have such a good time. And
Hmm.
whenever I'm in the ring with her, I've just had the best time of my life. Like I enjoy it so much. So honestly, I would wrestle her all the time. I really would.
That's so awesome to
Yeah,
hear. I'm looking forward to seeing you in that myself. So
yeah,
I'm excited for this Iron Woman match. And I love that women are in these Iron Woman matches. You know, in the bigger promotions,
yeah.
it's not something you see all the time.
That's
And,
it.
with
Yeah,
someone as talented as you and Charlie, it's gonna be really respectable, as you said. It's gonna be a standout, I think, as a fan. So
yeah.
I'm looking forward to that as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm actually kind of curious, speaking of that whole thing. You know, there's a lot of indie promotions, including Resurgence and like Riptide, for example, that have these type of matches or
Yeah,
intergender matches, and it's not a big deal. I feel
yeah,
like it's like, oh, look, this is what's happening. And
yeah,
everyone's like, oh, cool, that's going to be fun. And we kind of move on and enjoy it.
yeah.
So I'm kind of curious, like, what are your thoughts about intergender matches in general? And how you feel women's wrestling is kind of progressing and evolving.
Um, on the indie scene,
Hmm.
I love intergender wrestling. I think it's amazing. I don't see an issue with it at all. I know that some people do have issues with it, and I know a few promoters won't have intergender wrestling in
Mhm.
their company. But I think what it is, I think it's just down to the storytelling in a match. Because I know there's some male wrestlers, if you put them in the ring with a female wrestler, they won't want to punch them,
Right.
or do anything like that. So, but I know that other guys, like I've seen Jimmy Havoc versus Ginny, and
Yeah.
I watched that, and that's honestly my favorite intergender match I've seen. Probably one of my favorite matches ever, really, because they're amazing. But when you see them in the ring and the storytelling is so right, when they've got it perfect, you don't even realize it's a male and a female wrestling each other. You just see them, they're two wrestlers, that's it. So I think that some people make a bigger deal out of it than it actually is, because at the end of the day, they are just two wrestlers. I don't understand why people think it's a massive deal because it's a women wrestler stepping in the ring with a male wrestler. At the end of the day, they both have the same goal. They're both there for the same reason. Just let them do their thing, you know?
Hmm. I do. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I'm in the same camp you are with that. I feel like if that's what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. And there really shouldn't be a big deal around it. It's going to be a
Yeah,
great wrestling match,
right.
especially as you mentioned with that storytelling. I think that's key
Yeah,
for people, not just in intergender matches, but in matches in general, to
yeah,
enjoy it
yeah,
as a person watching and
yeah,
as a performer. Telling
yeah,
that story makes that match so much better. It's
yeah.
not just
Yeah.
fighting, there's something going on here.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's what I love about my matches when I have a match and there's a story to tell.
Hmm.
It really excites me and I can really get creative with it because you've got that story to feed off and that story to tell. There's something to work on, and I love
Hmm.
that. I love it.
Do you feel like your drama background has kind of really helped you with that?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely given me a confidence
Hmm.
platform really, because I think a lot of people will start wrestling and they'll get so scared and so nervous because you're in front of an audience. Being so involved in drama, I'd been in front of an audience a lot of times before, so I already know how it feels, and I already knew how to control my nerves.
Yeah.
So I think I already had a bit of an advantage when stepping in front of an audience. Um, and obviously studying storylines in theatre plays and understanding how to perform that and stick to it and react to um, everyone's responses, whether it's a wrestler or the audience. I think I've had a bit of an advantage with that as well. So yeah, I think so. I think drama's helped a lot.
I think so too. There's a lot of things that you can teach in life and,
Yeah,
and in sports, entertainment, and in wrestling. But I think that inner confidence and understanding of theatricality and the
yeah,
intricacies of human connection and drama is
yeah,
something that's harder. It's a more of a natural ability, I feel like. And other people, you can become better at it, right? We study theater. We don't just
yeah,
automatically become great overnight. I don't mean
yeah,
it like that. I just mean that it comes from the inside. And I see that projected from you a lot when I watch you wrestle and talk and work in the ring. I think you have that for sure. So I totally agree. You have that
yeah.
confidence in there already. And it helps so much.
Yeah, it does. I think so. Yeah. It helps people. I think if you're able to tell a story clearly in the ring, it
Mhm.
it makes it easier for an audience to watch and stick to watching what you're doing.
Yeah, I think so too. It draws them in and it gives
Yeah,
them that connection, not only to what they're watching, but to you personally. That's how we become fans of wrestlers, right?
yeah,
We make that connection with
that's
them.
it. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
So I'm wondering too, the wrestling industry as a whole, from indies all the way up,
yeah,
seem to be getting more open and into different types of storylines and connecting more with their fan base and becoming more diverse as a whole. I see it progressing forward. I'm
yeah.
curious as to your thoughts about if that's been your experience, where you think we need to go in the
Mm.
wrestling industry in terms of diversity, not only in storylines, but with the wrestlers that are working and, that whole environment. I'm curious as to what you think on that.
I mean, I haven't been wrestling for very long. I've not
Hmm.
been in the industry for very long to actually feel a big change because I think
Sure.
I came in. I think I started at a time where wrestling in the indie scene has just gotten massive, and everyone seems to be talking and getting involved in wrestling as of now. So I think before I started a few years ago, I think it was a point where a lot of people have been working and grinding so hard to get noticed and reach these big promotions. But it seems like nowadays there's wrestling promotions everywhere. There's wrestling everywhere. In any town you go, there's probably a promotion not far away to go and watch. So I think that's the difference now, with how much wrestling is around and how easy it is for someone to be on a show. I think with diversity, are you talking about ethnicities and
Sure, yeah, ethnicities, culture, more women, more inclusivity, all of that sort of thing. Yeah,
I think a lot of women are getting a lot more opportunities. I think they're being highlighted a lot recently. And I definitely think WWE's helped that. They've really put a massive light on women and the women's evolution and everything, and that's definitely it's definitely helped the indie scene with that. I think people are looking at women now as wrestlers, not just like a token match in a show.
Sure.
I think you see more and more female wrestlers now main eventing, and more wrestlers being the main thing, the spotlight on a poster. And I think it's just little things like that just show how far they're coming and how far we've come, really.
Yeah, I think so too. And what's interesting for me is seeing it, on a stage like WWE, where it's, the more casual fan of wrestling, that's what you're going to say more of. And to see them highlighting women, I think kind of gives you that, I don't want to say trickle down effect per se, because I think the indies have been doing it longer and better in some cases, in my opinion. But I think it's trickling down into society more so than the business itself, because it's been happening in other places. And it's kind of about time it's happening on larger stages for a larger audience. And it's interesting, as a fan to see that, especially as a woman who enjoys wrestling, it's nice to see somebody who I can relate to, because I am a woman as well. So for me, it's nice to see, and I want more of that. I think it needs to be more, I don't want to say normal, but normalized, I guess, is the better phrase.
Definitely, yeah. I feel that. Yeah, I definitely feel nowadays female wrestling is normalizing more and more every day. When I was younger, I was watching WWE on TV. It's strange because I never really looked up to the women, just from what I was watching. I mean, the things I can remember are just like bra and panty matches and mud baths, and the storylines behind outside of the ring were all about like cheating on boyfriends and having babies and everything like that. So I remember always saying, when everyone asked me, what do you want to be when you're older, I always said a wrestler, but not like the women. I want to be like one of the men, because I didn't want them to think or visualize me in like a really skimpy outfit.
Sure. Hypersexualized you. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. And that's how I saw the women. That's how I thought the women were represented on TV. The female wrestlers were just these women in skimpy outfits wrestling just to look like women.
Yeah.
Actually to look like a wrestler.
I know. I feel the same way that you do as a fan. There was a darker time for me as a younger person watching that and going, oh, wow, really? We're doing that? Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll just kind of wait until the men's match comes back on. That's like a sad thing to see, So I feel very happy now that there are young girls watching wrestling, and not just WWE, all different promotions across the entire world. I see young kids going to indie shows and seeing these female wrestlers like yourself and going, yeah, this is something I can do. And they have a more wrestling-oriented role model, I would think. Not to say or discredit the other women. That's not what I mean. It's more like, this is what I can do. I can wrestle like that.
Yeah, that's it. And it's just something like, we're not discrediting the wrestlers who did it before. I think it's showing an appreciation that that's what they did back then for us to do what we're doing now. Because if they never did that, they never had the light of being a female in the wrestling industry, we probably wouldn't be here right now at this point. So it's just showing that appreciation that, you know, they did what they had to do. They were still grinding, they were still working all to get to where we are now.
Absolutely. That's very well said. I totally agree. So speaking of, you know, when you watched wrestling when you were younger, who did you like totally mark out for? Like just lost it. Like, this is my person. I love them so much. Who's your favorite?
It was always Shawn Michaels.
Oh gosh.
Always. Yeah. I loved him so much. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I think it's literally because when you watch him, no matter who he was in the ring with or how much he was even getting beaten up, you can see just through the energy he has in the ring how much he's enjoying it. And I feel like you get that energy from him, like you feel it yourself. So just watching him was so enjoyable, and I always looked up to him. I always watched him. I thought, oh, I can do that. I swear, I promise you, I can do it.
You just wanted to do a little sweet chin music, huh?
Yeah, always. That was always my finish when I was when we used to practice wrestling with my family. We have a trampoline in the back garden. I know they always said don't try this at home, but we used to always have like little matches in the back garden on the trampoline, and my music always used to be Shawn Michaels coming out.
Oh gosh, I love that.
Yeah, so my sister used to always be Trish Stratus. So it was almost like it's Shawn Michaels versus Trish Stratus, which is hilarious if you think about it.
That actually is pretty funny.
But that was always it. It was amazing. But Shawn Michaels was the one, yeah.
Yeah, he's got charisma for days, that guy. And such a talent in the ring, and, you know, one of the all-time greats for sure.
Yeah.
But I understand why you like him so much. You know, that presence. He's Mr. WrestleMania for a reason, you know?
Exactly.
That's why they call him that. He's unreal talent. And his stuff in DX was great. I mean, there really wasn't a thing that he did that I didn't really enjoy either.
No, exact same. I think he mastered wrestling. He just mastered it. If you watch, like, I'll always watch his stuff, like on the network. I'll always go back and watch some of his old stuff, and you just realize how timeless he actually is. It's incredible, really.
It is. I mean, he still connects with fans today. They can go back on the network. The beautiful thing about the network really is that you can go back and watch all of these things. Even if you're a younger fan, you can go back and see what your older sister liked, or what your dad enjoyed, or what your grandpa liked. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's so much there.
Yeah, it's amazing what they've done for that.
For sure. Keeps us connected to wrestling of the past, which is super important because it's how, you know, we got where we are now.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah.
So that was when you were younger. What about now? What wrestler that you see, maybe you've worked with or that you've watched now, really speaks to you?
I think on the indie scene right now, the person who I watch, whenever I watch their matches, I'm always like hooked. I can never take my eyes off the ring, and that's Gabriel Kidd.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's from Nottingham as well. So it's amazing because I travel with him quite a lot, so I can hear him talk, I can hear his stories. But just to see him in the ring, whatever match he's got, I'm just captivated by it. I think he's awesome. I really do.
He's really interesting to see and watch work. He's got something in him, too. There's something going on when you watch him perform. I don't know if it's charisma or what it is, but it's something. I can see that.
Yeah, he's got it, definitely.
He's got it. Whatever it is, he's got it.
That's it.
So do you have anybody that you are like, I want to wrestle them so bad? Dream matches, something that you really want to get into?
I really want to wrestle my trainer Styx.
Do you?
Yeah. I think that'll be amazing because then you've got the storyline there as well.
Sure. Oh, yeah, built in.
Not only is it like trainer and trainee, but it's also like big wrestler versus small wrestler, really.
Yep. David versus Goliath vibes.
Yeah, I'd love it. I'd love to wrestle Styx. and I'd love to wrestle Miko Satomura.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, definitely. If I
Well,
get
that would be really cool.
yeah, I think that'll be insane.
Oh, yeah, you two would have a good one for sure.
Yeah.
A great choice. Can we make that happen?
I know. That would be amazing.
That would be so great. Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
So as far as like maybe the matches that you've had already, which one would you say like, yeah, that was my match. I felt really great about that match.
I would say it's either my second match I had with Xia Brookside at Kamikaze, or it would be my 2 out of 3 falls with Charlie Evans.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Definitely those two would be my favorite ones.
I think that's awesome. I agree. They're both very great. Not to be a little fangirl over here, but they were both really good.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm just trying to get you over here. That's my job. You know what I mean? I'll be your hype girl for today.
Yeah, please.
My pleasure. So as far as moving forward, because you haven't been in the business for too long and you're full steam ahead forward, what are your goals? You know, where's Kanji in 2 years or 5?
I definitely want to go to Japan. I really want to wrestle in Japan. I hear so many stories that wrestlers will go over there and they'll come back as like almost like a complete new wrestler. Like they've learned so much, not just like in ring stuff, but discipline as well. And I'd love to just go over there and see how they work and feel it, and get a chance to work some of their wrestlers, because I know that Japanese wrestling almost it's almost like a complete different style to what we have over here in Britain. So I'd love to go over there and just train, even if it's just to train over there. I'd love that opportunity. I recently wrestled Emi Sakura. She's got her own school in Thailand, I think. And she told me that I should go over there and train with her. So I've definitely started looking into going over there, just maybe for like a month or something, or a few weeks, just to get that experience. And because I think I'd learned so much. I think it'd be incredible. That's definitely a goal of mine, to go and train over in Japan.
Yeah, I feel like you would learn a lot as well. I hear that from other wrestlers and what I've read, of course, and what I've seen them talking about their experience, how much they learn and grow there, because it's such a different style and it's a totally different culture, and the way that they perform and how they create their matches is different, I believe. So I feel like that would be a great opportunity for you.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, and as I've been watching you, one of the things that popped into my mind was Stardom. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if she would be into that, because they've been great with, UK-based wrestlers like Bea, of course, and Kaylee Ray and Viper.
Yeah.
Toni Storm was there for a little bit.
Yeah.
No, it made me think of you.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd really love to. Every time I watch their matches and their clips from Stardom, I think it makes me proud to be British for how well they're doing over there, and how respected they are over there. And I think they've really earned that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just with how good they are in the ring, but how respectable they are when they go over there. I think they're representing England in such an amazing way. So it makes me so proud to see them doing so well over there.
Yeah, me as well as a fan. It's so nice, and what they do is unbelievable. These girls are so young and they're so talented, and the matches they put on are crazy. The move sets they have are crazy, and I feel like more people need to watch that program, that promotion.
Yeah, I think it highlights how good they actually are.
Right, exactly. And Bea just won the red belt the other day, and that was like crazy to see. What a match that was. And I feel like, I don't know, just saying, it might be a nice fit for you. Just from someone who likes you.
I would love it, honestly. I'd never turn it down.
Good. I'm sure that they would be happy to have you if that were ever to work out. And I hope that it does.
I hope so too. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So my last question for you is, you want to be a wrestling legend.
Yeah.
What do you want people to know and remember about Kanji?
Probably that I did it all on myself. I got here on my own without really anyone pushing me to or leading me in the right direction, really. I mean, I've had my trainer who's done amazing things, and everyone's given me so much support and guidance and everything, but I've never had anyone getting me bookings on a show or anything like that. I've done it all by myself, and I'm a hard worker, and I believe that hard work is the key to get you where you want to be, to reach goals. Hard work is the key. I'd say that's what I'll do, definitely. I'll just work so hard to get, because I know where I want to be. I know how I want to be seen. I know what I want to represent, and I just work hard for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see that already.
While enjoying myself as well. I don't put any added pressure on myself. I'm doing it because I enjoy it so much. So I think that's how I'd like to be seen.
It's a great answer, and it's so cool to have watched you from when I first saw you till now, and where you're going. I think you got big things ahead of you. And I think you've made quite a name already for yourself amongst your peers and amongst us fans. And that I think you're gonna do big things, and we're all cheering for you.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So, my dear, would you please tell the good people of Queen's Court where they can find you, your socials, and what's coming up next for Kanji?
Yeah, you can find. I'm on Facebook. I've got a fan page. That's just Kanji. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram. My Twitter handle and Instagram handle is Kanji Duku. You can find me there. I do all my updates on there. I'm recently out with an injury. I've broken my hand.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm hoping to come back perhaps middle of June. That's when I'm allowed anyway. So I'm just hoping to come back there and hopefully making my debut in Rise. So hopefully I'm all healed for them, because I'd love to work for them.
Oh, that's going to be really cool.
Yeah. And then just get back on these shows and fight back to win back my Defiant Women's Championship.
Yes. Yes. I want that too. I'm ready to see you with that belt again, girl.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you a speedy recovery with your hand. I'm sure you'll be back in no time. And I can't wait for everyone to start checking you out, seeing all your shows that are upcoming, especially that Iron Woman match. Y'all, you need to see that. Don't sleep on it. I'll make sure to link all of them to everything they need to know.
Bless you. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for sharing some of your time with me.
No, that's a pleasure. Thank you. I've really enjoyed it.